Getting set up on the live. Okay, let me get set up on TikTok live. Let me see. Hi, I'm just getting ready to get started on the live. Whoever is joining me on YouTube, let me just get TikTok going live here, and then I'll take any questions and talk to everybody about the message that I've been getting from my spirit team for 2023, ending 2022 and going into 2023. So going live on TikTok also. Here we go. All right. Anybody joining live for TikTok and YouTube? Let me move them over a bit on YouTube. See if we've got anybody coming on live yet. Yes. Okay, we got some people on TikTok. Okay. So, sorry about the delay. Welcome everyone. Going to talk about anything and everything you want to talk about with regard to higher self hypnosis and past life regression. I wanted to talk about the message that I've been getting from my spirit team lately about going into 2023. So I want to save that for a little bit though, because I want to make sure that we get some more people on before I start talking about the big message. So I hope everybody's been it's now January 1st, it's New Year's Day. And I hope everybody had a great holiday, great Christmas, great New Year's. I took my family last night. I rented a hotel suite for 2 days in my town that I live in. It was gorgeous and big. And I did that so I could get away without distractions and do a bunch of meditating, some more healing on myself, because that never ends. And then I made sure it had a pool. So then I took my kids there last night for New Year's Eve, and we went to the pool, and nobody kicked us out when it closed. So we got to stay there for a long time, and we were just getting wild and crazy. And there was lots of screaming and splashing going on. So it was super fun. And then we went up to the suite, showered, and then we had some games with us. If you guys have never heard of this game, like, you got to get it. It's so fun. What is it called? It's called Taco Goat Cheese Pizza, something like that. But it's a card game, and it is super fun. When I ask my higher self a question, how can I hear a response? So that is what Cute Spice Girl asked. Cute Pisces Girl. Sorry. Okay. When you ask your higher self a question, how can you hear a response? So anyway, I'll answer that in just a second. So we brought that card game with us, and that is like the best card game ever. It's super fun. Taco Goat Cheese Pizza or something like that. And it gets pretty wild. So we did that. We play Spot It, and we have some other games. But anyway, that was super fun for our New Year's Eve. That's what we did. Bought a bunch of junk food and had sparkling cider, since none of us drink. So I listen but can't tell the difference between my higher self and my ego. Ooh, okay. Difference between higher self and ego, for sure. You want to be, that's a really long, a long question, but it's going to take practice. And we're going to actually practice that in my class that starts January 10. It's connecting to your higher self. If you haven't registered for that, that would be a really, really good one if you want to learn all about ego, which you can also call your lower self or your persona, or your ego voice. And then learn the difference between that and your higher self or your God self, your authentic self, whatever you want to call that. And we're going to do some extra, it's going to be 4 weeks of learning about this, and then do some exercises in my class, some short meditations and visualizations where we're going to actually put this stuff into practice. And then every week in this class that I'm teaching starting January 10, connecting to your higher self, you're going to get little exercises and things to practice on in the meantime, in between the classes. So if you have not registered for that, go to my website, wokelightworker.com, because I think tomorrow is the last day for my half price on that. It was the 30, 31, 1, and 2. So tomorrow is the last day for half price on that. So it's at wokelightworker.com, and it's under the courses, higher self-inspired courses. So that's my connecting to your higher self class. But how can you know the difference? Gosh, that's in a nutshell, the short answer is the difference between your lower self or your ego self and your higher self, your God self, is it's the one that's not positive. It's the one that's not encouraging. So your ego will say things to you like, go brush your teeth. Otherwise they're going to turn black and they're going to fall out. And then your higher self would say something much more positive about how you love your body and you want to take care of your body. And this is another way to show how you take care of your body. Or the ego would be the one to say to you, oh gosh, don't even think about starting your own business, because you know what happened last time. It totally fell on its face. You're going to be broke. You're going to be homeless. It's never going to work. Everybody does that kind of business. It's a dime a dozen. What makes you think you could ever be successful in that? You don't have any experience doing that. You don't even know how to run a business. It's going to be like 80 hours a week. How are you ever going to do that? That would be the ego talking to you. So that's how you can identify the ego. And then the higher self voice is the one that encourages you along your path. So the first good thing to do is to find out what is your path. So you're going to find that out by following your joy, by following that breadcrumb trail of excitement. So whatever sparks joy in you, just follow that. That's how I ended up finding this and doing what I do, doing past life regression, higher self hypnosis, is I just kept taking courses and certifications, and I'd take this angel healing class and that class and Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 and become a Reiki master. And like, I just kept following and reading, learning. And I would just constantly just follow that breadcrumb trail of excitement. And it eventually led me to doing this and starting to do this around my other job. And then doing this more and more until my spirit team told me to take it full time and to just do this. And so that was learning how to listen to my higher self while I did all these other things that sparked my joy. So I just kept following that breadcrumb trail of excitement, not knowing it was going to lead me to my purpose. But along the way, I grew. I worked on healing myself. I did lots of healing. So a big thing for me, if you want to hear from your higher self, a big thing you want to do is you want to work on your own healing, like healing trauma, healing emotional pain, anything that's happened to you that's still stuck in that space, because that was almost like my spirit team showed it to me. It was almost like it was a black veil covering separating me from being able to really clearly hear and be connected to spirit. And it was because of all the trauma and all the pain and the stories that I kept holding onto. And so until I really did some intense healing work on that, it was a lot more difficult for me to hear from my spirit team, for sure, 100%. Oh, you want to come on this side? My daughter's here, everyone. Cherish. Sorry, I'm trying to pull my chair in and it's not, without knocking the background over. Let's see if we can do this. Let me see. Here. Let's see if we can get her in here. But you always have these high chairs and then people can't see you. Now you're going to knock the background over. Okay. All right. So this is my daughter. Cherish, everyone. Okay.
So what?
Okay. So let's look at the questions. Do you randomly pick people you are drawn to for a reading? I'm not sure. I don't do readings. So I don't do readings. So what I do is higher self hypnosis, and it's not even really hypnosis. I talk about this I do a 15-minute consultation call with everyone before they book an appointment. But really what it is getting you in a really relaxed state so that you can connect and channel your higher self. So it's not me doing anything. All of the words are coming out of your mouth. This is you doing the talking and channeling your higher self. And the cool thing is that most of my clients are conscious channelers. And when I say that, they're pretty much aware of everything that happens to them when we're doing a session. And when I ask my clients afterwards, I'm like, so what was that like for you? And you guys, actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, which I'm live on YouTube right now too, but if you go to my YouTube channel, search up Woke Lightworker, you guys can see actual hypnosis sessions out there. And you can see some of my, some testimonials from clients on what it was like. But when they come out of the session, they describe it as almost like they're in the background back here and something was talking through them. They're like, it's me, but it wasn't me, but it was me. But they said they would hear the doubting ego voice sometimes being like, oh, you're just making all this up. This isn't even really happening. And they would push that aside like I had coached them to do. So I do a lot of coaching with you guys to get you into that state of being able to let go and not listen to the lower self or the ego self and just really completely relax and let go. So there's no magic hypnosis or anything like that. Hypnosis, when people think of hypnosis, they think of the stage hypnosis, which is all just for show anyway. But this is really just going into a really nice I'll guide you in a really nice relaxing meditation to just quiet the ego voice away so you can just channel through your higher self that is you. Your higher self is you. And so it's just channeling because you have all the answers inside of you and you have that higher version of yourself. If you want to imagine, it's like about an arm's length above your head. That is the one that can constantly guide you and feed you all this wisdom and these answers again. And it is you. It is an aspect of you. It's not your human you, but it is you. Yeah, go ahead and fix my hair. That's fine. Do you do past lives first? Yes. So we'll look at a past life or another life. I mean, there's no time. That's just a human construct. So if you imagine your lives, imagine a circle and everything's happening around the circle. There's no linear construct with time. So it's another life you've lived, but that's kind of the vernacular that we use is we call it past lives. So yeah, we look at a past life first or another life that you've lived, and it might be a past life on Earth and it may not be. I have some really interesting ones lately where they were on other planets. I have some really good sessions on my Patreon channel, you guys, patreon.com/woke lightworker. That's my most recent work. And there are some really, really interesting past life stories out there. But if you go to my YouTube channel and you listen to Ingrid's session, her name is Ingrid. Of course, these people give me permission to share their sessions. But if you listen to Ingrid's session, she had a very interesting past life where she was a being from another planet that looked like nothing you would imagine. So that's how you know you're not making this stuff up, because she was like, I couldn't even make this stuff up. And her reaction at the end of her session was priceless. I mean, we had to bleep out quite a few words that she gave because she was so shocked and surprised. Like, what the heck? You can't even make this stuff up. But yeah, hers is a really good example of one to watch if you want to watch a full session. So what I do first is the first approximately 3 hours, we're just talking. And I'm getting to learn everything about you so that I can formulate really good questions to ask your higher self. And then we'll take a break. You'll watch a coaching video. And then in the afternoon, the second half, we'll come back and I'll get you nice and relaxed in a meditation. We'll look at a past life, but then not only a past life, but we're going to look at what do you do in between lives. So once you die in that past life, where do you go? What does it look like? Who do you see? What do you do next? So everyone has a different experience. There's a lot of similarities on what people see, but it's not everyone. And sometimes we'll meet your spirit council up there, which is really cool because your spirit council is someone that you chose before you came here for your lifetimes to help guide you and lead you. And all of the beings on your spirit council have different purposes, different things that they help you with. And you'll usually, not always, but you'll usually look at like kind of what you thought about that life that you just lived. Like, oh, I did this good and I didn't really do this that well. And let me go plan this over again. And then we'll look at, if we can, if your higher self will show you, we'll look at kind of what you plan for the next life. It might be this one that you're living now, or the very next one that you were planning after you were in that spirit realm after that other life. And believe it or not, a lot of people think you always choose your parents. I have found we don't always choose our parents. A lot of times we do, but sometimes it's actually our spirit council or our spirit guides who work for our spirit council that choose our parents. And we are just like totally trusting them, knowing that they have a list of what we want to accomplish. It's like a scroll, and that's our soul plan, what we want to accomplish and learn in different lifetimes. So let's say it might be forgiveness, patience, and compassion. Let's say that was the lessons you wanted to learn in this lifetime. And so they'll pair you up with others, parents, siblings, significant others, different relationships to learn those specific lessons that you wanted to accomplish in this time, in this lifetime. And believe it or not, I know you guys probably know this, you can imagine, we carry a lot of lessons from life to life to life because we just haven't mastered them yet. And so we tend to just kind of repeat and loop and repeat and loop and repeat and loop. So we'll look at what you do in between lives, and then I'll call forth your higher self, that you'll channel that aspect of you, that higher aspect of you, your God self, your authentic self, and then ask those questions that we came up with in the first part and any follow-up questions. So that's why I have to learn everything about you when we're looking at a session, when we're in the morning session, because I need to learn everything about you so I know how to ask really good follow-up questions. Because if I don't know about your relationship with mom or dad, where you struggled, it's going to be really hard for me to ask even semi-intelligent follow-up questions based on what your higher self has to say. We don't either choose to come back or not. So we do get a choice on coming back or not, but our souls love to come here because Earth is a really difficult school. It's a school like any other planet would be a school. Any other physical place would be a school. And the lessons come fast and hard because we have emotions here. Not on every planet, there's not emotions. So Earth is one of the few planets where we actually have emotions. So I did a session recently. It was a past life session where she was on another planet, and I believe she was a he. They did have a gender on that planet, and she was a he and did not look anything like a human. But they did have love. They did have, I think, joy, a couple other emotions, but it was like a whole range of like 3 or 4 emotions, and that was it. But there were no negative emotions whatsoever. It was all love and light and high frequency and joy. So she didn't have the range of emotions like we have on Earth. And because of the range, the highs and the lows, you get more learning because you have contrast. So Earth is a planet of contrast or duality. It goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. And so that helps us in learning so many lessons. And that's where our soul loves coming here, is again, because that makes the lessons come really fast and really hard because they're intense and we feel them. So hope that answers that question. Do our higher selves know when our last lifetime is? I think you probably are asking me last lifetime on Earth. So that is a question that some people ask when they're doing their session. Like, is this my last life? That's totally your ego wanting to know that, by the way. Like, your higher self would be like, oh gosh, I could just keep going back and going back and going back because I learned so much and I get to help people and I get to help raise the vibration of the planet. But when it's time to be done here, your higher self knows that too. And it's like, oh gosh, we got way bigger things we're going to do now. So I wouldn't, I mean, if you want to stay out of your ego, I wouldn't worry about, oh, is this my last life? And I don't want to be coming back here, because that's totally just your ego talking. Your higher self is not talking like that. Trust me, at all. Because I see so many lives in between lives, and the soul is really excited. Yeah, we're kind of like, sometimes we're kind of like, oh, that was really tough, and I don't really want to go back right now. I want to spend some time here in the spirit realm. I want to heal. I want to, just kind of chill and take it easy for a while. But then we always end up going back, because again, we have that scroll or that list of things that is part of our soul path that we want to learn, that we want to accomplish. And so Earth is the quickest way to accomplish a lot of these things. Because again, you can't learn forgiveness on a lot of other planets, because you just don't have those low frequency emotions and people stabbing you in the back, or, whatever it might be that you need to forgive people for. You have the darkness and the duality and the contrast on Earth and similar planets. And believe me, there are planets that are darker than Earth. So, and similar to Earth, I had someone not long ago, probably about a month ago, who incarnated on a planet that was similar to Earth in terms of frequency. The beings looked different, but it was a similar frequency. But then I had someone, gosh, this was probably like 4.5 years ago. He went to a planet that was way darker than Earth, and it was just full of murder and death and destruction and brutality. And I was like, wow, why did he even go there? Because he didn't even last very long. I mean, he ended up getting killed after being there for just a short time. And the answer was, oh, he just wanted to experience it. He just wanted to see what it was like. And I was like, oh, yeah. So there are planets that are even lower frequency than Earth, but so many that are higher frequency too. Let me see. Hi, Tracy. She said, hi. Oh, thank you for the rose. Rain. Oh, I missed the name. Rain. Oh, where did that go? I'll bring it up here in a minute. Have you ever had a session where it was hard to connect to someone's higher self? Yeah, and it's not connecting to their higher self. It's them releasing the ego to be able to channel their higher self. So it's not connecting to someone's higher self. Again, what? Their blockages. Yeah, it's them blocking it, because they're the ones who are putting the block in their mind so that they can't, bring through that. They're listening too much to their lower self or their ego self. So that's why I tell everyone, you want to practice meditating every single day from the time you book a session until the time you have your session. You want to do wake time while you're awake, guided meditations. And I actually have some really good ones. They're not mine. They're really good ones I pulled off YouTube that are on my website, wokelightworker.com. If you click on the videos tab, it's toward the bottom. There's some really good ones that I picked off YouTube. And I also have one that you can get for free. If you guys go to my website, wokelightworker.com, it's called Meeting Your Higher Self. And that one, you'll get a pop-up box right away. It says, hey, if you want my free meditation, Meeting Your Higher Self, give me your email address and you will be added to my email list. And that's to notify you guys. Actually, I send out some really good emails starting in January. I'm going to be sending out 2 emails a month with teaching, and then I'm trying to keep them really short, but just something that's really pertinent and just pops into my head that my team wants me to share with everyone. So you'll get 2 of those every month. And then any notifications on classes I have, like again, my class starting January 10, connecting to your higher self. And that one, my half price only goes through tomorrow, guys. So if you want that, go to my website too, wokelightworker.com. But if you go to my website, you can sign up and get my free meditation, Meeting Your Higher Self, that I did. But again, under the videos tab, there's more you can practice with too. And again, it's not hypnosis like you think. This type of what I do is relaxing meditation. It's being able to it's almost like splitting a hair. If you imagine one hair and you're trying to split it in half, and half of it is the ego voice that would sabotage it and go, oh, you're just making all this up. You're not even seeing it. What you're really seeing. This is all, not even true. And then listening to your higher self. So it's quieting the ego voice through practicing guided meditations and quieting your mind and focusing on what the speaker is telling you to focus on and not letting the distractions come in your mind. And then just being able to listen to spirit, to be in touch with that creative side of your brain, the right side, the imagination. So getting out of living on the left side and being more in the right side, because this earth teaches you, well, because it's part of the matrix, it's part of the old earth grid. They want you living in the left side of your brain, the logical side. They don't want you in touch with your imagination. That's part of being in the matrix. I mean, they try to slap that right out of you past kindergarten in school.
Imagination is creation, so they don't want that.
Right.
Because they want to create
soldiers.
Yeah.
They want to create little foot soldiers for the matrix. And they can't do that if you're on the right side of your brain. So the way to get out of the matrix is to be in the right side of your brain and the creative part. So what does that look like? To be in the right side of your brain and be in touch with your imagination. We don't suffer from all these things on the planet that we think we suffer from. We really suffer from a lack of imagination. And again, we're just not taught that. I mean, when we were kids, like, oh, that's just her imagination. You know, it's just kind of poo-pooed and put down like a little kid thing. And it's not acknowledged for the hugely creative thing it really is. And that's how you're going to create a lot of healing for yourself too. You're not going to create healing by being in the left side of your brain. You're not going to create that healing for yourself. The healing you're going to create for yourself is going to come on the right side of your brain. And if you're not over there, that's really tough to visualize. What does it look like to have my higher self pull this trapped emotion of anger that I feel? Where do I feel it? Oh, let me get in touch with the right side of my brain. Oh, I feel it in my liver, or I hear the word liver popping up in my head. Okay, what does it look like to ask my higher self to pull that out of my liver, to send it to Creator's light, and then replace it with unconditional love and light, and then visualize that and imagine that happening. And that's healing. That is healing. And that's not on the left side of the brain. That's definitely on the creative side of your brain. But you can create that. You can create any healing, anything like that you want. So after past life regression therapy, why do someone get a headache? Yeah. I don't know about past life regression, but I do have people who get headaches, and I just tell them, because you're out flying all over the place. I mean, you leave your body, your soul's leaving your body, and you're going all over the place. And so you want to make sure that when you come back, and this is all in my aftercare instructions I give everyone, but you want to make sure when you come back, you drink a lot of water. You just take it easy for the next day. If you do a session with me that includes higher self hypnosis, we're going to do psychic surgery. So you want to make sure it's like 3 days of good rest. I mean, I realize some people have to go back to work, but try to get as much rest as you can. Come home from work and just lay down, read a book, go to bed, watch TV, whatever it is, meditate, but drink lots and lots of water. And then I recommend doing lots of grounding. So whether that's a good thing to do is take an Epsom salt bath to ground yourself. You can take a shower. That'll help ground you. Imagine roots growing out from the bottom of your feet. If you guys want to know
the roots going up in you and giving you energy.
Yeah. If you guys want to know, there's 4 must-dos every day. You can find those on my YouTube channel or on my TikTok if you go in my bio. But those are 4 must-dos that higher self told me that everyone should be doing every day. It's just kind of part of spiritual hygiene. Imagine taking a shower and brushing your teeth every day. It's kind of like that. You want to do these 4 must-dos every day. So you can find those on my YouTube channel and again in my TikTok. But one of those things is grounding. And so you want to make sure that you ground really well. And I think that's pretty much what I list in my aftercare. But your soul left your body, and it's just kind of a different experience as to why, that's why you're getting a headache. So just kind of bringing yourself back into it. I'm a Pisces and an artist, always right-brained. Yeah, that's awesome. Tap into that. Use it. She's a Pisces. Wait, I missed it. What's your course about and where to find it? She said on TikTok. So my course is called Connecting to Your Higher Self, and you can find that on my website, wokelightworker.com. And the half price special is only good through January 2nd. The course starts January 10, but if you guys can't be there in person, then you'll get a replay. So it's 4 weeks long, and we're going to go through all kinds of like difference between the ego and the higher self, and how do you connect to your higher self. And it doesn't mean in 4 weeks you guys are going to be like, oh, I'm totally connected to hearing my higher self all the time now, because I mean it could, right? It absolutely could, but it's not necessarily going to be like that. For me, it was definitely a process, and so I had to go through a lot of healing to get to that point. and some other things that I'll talk about in the class with you guys. But yeah, it's all about how to connect to that higher self part of you. And there's also a really, really good book you guys can read that will help you with this too. I don't know if you want to write it down, but it's called One Truth, One Law by Erin Worley, Erin. My YouTube is called Woke Lightworker, and I'm actually live on YouTube and TikTok right now. So Woke Lightworker. Have you come across anything about a grid around the earth? I saw the grid ones all around us, said Heather on YouTube. Yes. Oh my gosh. I have a client that I do repeated sessions with, and she is the coolest thing. She actually was an elemental that helped create the new earth grid. And now she came down in human form to experience what it's like to be in the grid and experience the new grid. So it's the coolest thing. We talk a ton about the new earth grid. I'm definitely going to write about it someday. It's a lot, but there's the old earth grid and the new earth grid. And the old earth grid is collapsing, and the dark energy, the dark forces that are trying to keep everyone trapped in this old earth grid, or what you might call the matrix, they're trying to make it look like it doesn't have all kinds of holes in it, that it's totally intact, and that you should still, be part of the I do coaching, Jazz Electricity. If you want to email me, Tracy at wokelightworker.com, go ahead. I'll talk about that a little bit too. But where did I leave off? Oh, so they don't want us to know that the old earth grid is full of holes. So they keep creating these illusions like, yes, you need our financial system. Yes, you need our 9-to-5 work. And then, actually it's having 3 jobs to be able to support your family these days, right? But it's so full of holes. And the new earth grid has been formed. But here's the key: to connect to the new earth grid. And this is what multiple people's higher selves have said when we've asked about the new earth grid, is you cannot connect to the new earth grid unless you've got 2 things, and it has to be heart and mind coherence. And so it has to be heart and mind. It can't be just the heart, and it can't be just the mind. The mind is the old earth grid. If you're trying to connect to anything with just using your mind and bypassing the heart, and you don't have like your heart, because God knows the heart, right? Creator knows the heart. And so it's heart mind coherence. And so it's not just, really it comes down, let me just make it simple. Really it comes down to living and walking in love, and wanting to live in a high frequency, and wanting to live a life of love. I mean, if you are walking around with, you wouldn't even be on listening to me on this if that was you. So nobody here has to worry about anything like that. But you know what I'm talking about, the people who are out for greed and themselves. So if you want to say they're service to self people versus service to others. So they're very much about power and greed and control. That's masculine energy. That's like being totally in your masculine and being in the old earth grid, versus the new earth grid, which is love. It's all about love. And it's having that heart mind coherence and being totally walking in a place of love. So yes, the new earth grid, that's amazing. A lot of people have seen that in meditations. A lot of people see it in visions. I have not seen it. I've had it described to me in my meditations. People have said that it looks kind of like, almost like there's a whole, like endless points where the different pieces meet. So almost if you imagine like a fish net, where you have all the, the little pieces kind of crossing and meeting, and you have a lot of them. And so connecting to any point on the earth grid is a great way to work in your manifestation meditations. So anything on finding our life, anything on finding our life purpose. I don't really know what you mean by that. Fee Fire Wings that asked that on TikTok.
Like anything you want to say.
Purpose? Well, so maybe you jumped on after I said this, but at the very beginning of this live, I said to find your purpose, you really just want to keep following the breadcrumb trail of excitement. So whatever excites you is that's where you're going to end up finding your purpose. And so you may not have it right here, right now, because it's a journey. If you knew what your purpose was, if every single person knew what their purpose was right when they got here, that wouldn't be half the fun of going on the adventure and figuring it out and finding it. I mean, some people are just born knowing their purpose. Like my 19-year-old son is like determined. He knows he came here to play soccer. Like that's his big thing. So he's pursuing a professional soccer career. But not everyone's like that. They just kind of wander around wondering what their purpose is. You can absolutely ask your higher self. But the way I was led to my purpose was just like what I said, just taking courses, reading books, whatever brought me joy. I started just doing it. And for me, it was learning all about spirituality and diving totally in head first. And oh, hi, Sue. Sue Garrett said hi. She just booked booked a session with me tonight. So yeah, it's just following the breadcrumb trail of excitement, whatever really excites you. So if it's a Reiki class, if it's, learning about spirituality, if it's learning Taekwondo, if it's doing yoga, like whatever it is.
It could be math, even, like literally anything.
Yeah.
Something simple that you maybe liked as a kid. And then it could come back and be the joy of your life. And maybe there's signs of it popping up lately and it's making you wonder like, oh, is this a sign? Well, the biggest sign is joy. That's your biggest sign that you always look for within.
Yep, 100%. Are my sessions remote or in person? I do all my sessions remotely. You guys can actually see my sessions. I'll say it again on my YouTube channel under the name Woke Lightworker. So I have sessions out there. I have some meditations out there. I have some 528 hertz recordings, which is the love frequency for 8. I put it on for 8 hours. So you guys can play that while you're sleeping and just bask in the love frequency of 528 hertz.
And give it any intention.
Yeah, set your intention before you go to sleep. And then I have shorts out there, which are kind of similar. I mean, a lot of my a lot of my TikToks repurposed, but a lot of sessions out there too. But the majority of my sessions are on my Patreon channel. That's if you go to patreon.com, you would search up Woke Lightworker, and that's where you get to see like a lot of my newer stuff is out on my Patreon channel. But I do have a lot out on my YouTube channel. But yeah, they're done remotely. And I used to do in-person sessions all the time before what happened in 2020, which I'm not going to say the name because then the AI is going to pick it up on here and YouTube doesn't like that. So I've already got one warning. I don't want to get any strikes, guys. But yeah. So then my spirit team told me, nope, you're taking it online. And it's been wildly successful. And I noticed zero difference between the effectiveness of doing it in person versus online. Plus, now I get to do sessions with people all over the world. So I had quite a number of people in South Africa do sessions. I have some in England. I actually have a session scheduled in Greenland. So that's fun. Australia, sessions all over the place. How do you deal with dark beings attached to people? We just ask their higher self to remove them in the session. So that's not anything too difficult. I do Tai Chi and it helps me with my spiritual connection too. Yeah, that's awesome. Nessalita, I hope to book with you soon. Yeah. Let me see, go up and see if I can find any more. I have a strong feeling that I was placed on this earth to heal people. I will tell you guys that a lot, if people who are listening to this, there's probably a lot of healers on here, and higher self, when I do these sessions, the first thing higher self always says is, and this is multiple people's higher selves, says, healer, heal thyself. So you want to be further up the mountain than anyone you're trying to help, because it doesn't really do any good if you're both like trudging up the side of the mountain together and neither one of you have actually put your feet in the snow yet, and you're just kind of walking side by side. So that's where my higher self had me do a crap ton of healing on myself for a long time. And I still didn't know what my purpose was. I was just following my joy, taking classes, doing this, doing that, and really working on healing. And I asked for a high level guide one time in a meditation, and I got one. And immediately afterwards, I just kept hearing, you need to get in the bathtub. You need to get in the bathtub. You need to get in the bathtub. And so I would get in the bathtub and do like these 2 hour long meditations with some candles or my salt rock lamp and some soft, spa music, meditation music, and get in there and just be like, okay, I'm here. What do you want to work on? And never fails, something would come up in my mind, like some memory, some inner child healing, something. And it would just be like, oh, okay, let's deal with this. And so you bring it up, you feel it, and then you release it. It's kind of just like letting it flow through. It's being in a state of flow and not pushing things down, not suppressing them like, oh no, I'm fine. I got over my mom treating me like that. Well, your mind might think you have, but your body holds a score. And so if your body's holding on to any of that, your heart's holding on to any of that, if any of those emotions are trapped in any of your organs, that's junk that's just got to be released, because it's literally just like dragging along old suitcases filled with rocks everywhere you go. And so to be a healer first, you want to focus. The most important thing you can do, because that will help free you so much. And you'll be in a way better position to heal other people, because you'll draw the people and attract the people to you that are looking for the same kind of healing. And you'll be like, oh gosh, well, this is what I did. This is how it worked. Not only that, you're raising your energetic frequency by releasing all of these suitcases filled with rocks that you're dragging around with you. But then you're also raising the vibration of the entire planet, because every time you raise your vibration and you do any healing, you're lightening the load, and you're holding the space, and you're being the example for other people to follow to do their healing. And then you're able to teach them, you're able to help them, because all healing is self-healing. I mean, Dolores Cannon said this too. All healing is self-healing. We don't heal anyone else. We hold the space for them. We can teach them, we can coach them, we can show them how to do it, but we can't make anyone heal themselves. That's an inside job. It's always an inside job. So if you think you're here to be a healer, so the best thing you can do until you figure out where exactly you want to be plugged in or what your purpose is to really just knuckle down and focus on your own healing. And I went on the super accelerated path. And it was funny because I know I've told this story before in my lives, but I remember sitting in front of my house one time, and I was in my car, and I told you I asked for a high level guide, because I was like, I just need to go. I want to go faster. I feel like there's something I want to do, something I need to get to. I just want to be done with this healing. And so one day when I was sitting in my car, I got this image of a ski hill, and there was like the bunny hill, there's a medium hill, and then there's like this really tall mountain. And I heard my high level guide, who I called him Jacob. I heard him say, which one do you want to go down in terms of like my journey, my healing journey? And then he said, the bunny hill, where it's like, nice and easy and smooth. Or do you want to get on the medium one where it's still definitely challenging? Or do you want to go down the really large, steep one, where the image I got in my mind was when you see those Olympic skiers and there's all those flags and they're just like shooting and darting in and out of those flags. And I was like, oh, those flags, I want to get on that hill, like all the way. And then I heard my guide kind of like in a humor say, okay, remember you asked for this. So, yeah, I definitely went on the fast track, and I was reading all the time, everything I could get my hands on, spiritual books, like everything I could get my hands on. And I'll tell you guys one book that helped me huge in my healing journey that I took in the bathtub for my meditations a lot it's called The Jeshua Channelings by Pamela Kribbe, and it's Kribbe. So the Jeshua Channelings, and this is the soul that came down as Jesus. And it's fascinating. It's like mind-blowing, fascinating book that I was reading along with a friend of mine, and we'd be texting each other all night going, oh my God, did you see that what's on page 39? Like, oh my God, that was so crazy. Like, that's so cool. But it's just full of fascinating stuff about Jesus's life and who Jesus really was, not what you hear in church, not what you hear from the media, not what you hear from anything. This is straight from the horse's mouth, from Jesus' mouth. It's a book channeled by Pamela Crabbe of the soul that was who incarnated as Jesus. He wasn't Jesus in every life. I mean, he's a soul like every other soul and had other lives, but he talks about his specific incarnation as Jesus. It's fascinating, but it's also full of a ton of stuff I highlighted through it that Yeshua would say that we could do in terms of self-healing. And so it's just really an amazing book. And again, in case you missed the name of it, it's called The Jeshua, Jeshua, The Jeshua Channelings by Pamela Crabbe, Kribbe. You want to say anything there, little girl? Let's ask it. Let's
read questions.
Let's read questions. Have you ever done this type of hypnosis? What your higher self said? I mean, yeah, I did it to myself one time, and I just asked questions for my own life. So nothing too relevant. But I do sessions with a couple of people that we do them like every month and a half pretty regularly. And we get in touch with, let's just say it's a little bit, oh, you keep sliding me on my chair. It's a little bit, it's more than just their higher self. It's more like the higher self of their higher self of their higher self or their 4D self. But so I ask a lot of questions in those sessions because that's what those sessions are for, is they allow me to ask a lot of questions of their higher selves to get a lot of like higher level answers. And that's where in those sessions we talk about the old earth grid versus the new earth grid. So let's see what other kind of questions we got. What type of hypnosis? I've been reading the Sophia Code. Ooh, that's a good book, which I heard about in one of your sessions. Yes, Sophia Code is amazing. And then she asked what type of hypnosis? Yes, I do still do sessions, Alexa.
And someone said price per session.
Yeah, you got to go to my website, wokelightworker.com, click on the hypnosis tab, and you can get all my pricing, everything there. That's where you also book a consultation call. Guys, I do have a company that I'm going to start working with. I just found them, and I'm going to start working with them on doing what?
Oh, yeah.
Calm down. I'm going to start working with them to do financing. And so they're going to be able to finance sessions if you want to get a session, and also for a mentoring program that I am just getting off the ground probably in February, end of January, beginning of February, we're going to start it. And so it's where I'm going to be teaching people how to do this type. If you really think it's your purpose and you really want to learn everything from the ground up, or even if you've done like QHHT level 1 or something like that, this is going to go way, way, way beyond it. So I incorporate a lot of different techniques in mine. So what I do, this type of hypnosis, I guess if you want to say the shell, is QHHT, but none of the guts anymore are QHHT. It's just completely different. And I've taken on a very like deep healing path as far as asking questions and doing psychic surgery. But not only that, so my mentoring program is not just, it's learning hypnosis from the ground up, but it's learning all the guts in it that I've put inside of this and that I keep modifying every day. But it's every kind of email template I use. It's the forms I use. It's the waivers that I send my clients to sign. It's how do I do this? And it's looking at the business side of things too. And it's teaching the entire business side, how to completely set it up, guys. This is years worth of work that I'm going to be sharing with everyone, because it's like, why try to figure this out on your own if you can literally just, it's going to be a business in a box. That's really, I'm just calling it a business in a box. That's what it is. And so being able to just be like here. And so depending on how fast you learn, depending on how fast you want to go, you're going to do a lot of practice sessions. I have plenty of people you can do practice sessions on. You're going to do practice sessions with each other. You're going to do practice sessions with some of my former clients. so that they can give you feedback based on their session with me and then how you did, and they can give you some constructive criticism and feedback. But you're going to do a lot of practice sessions, but 4 to, let's say, 6 months, you should be able to be up and running and doing your own and just take off. We're going to talk about social media marketing. Everything, everything. And guys, I probably spend about anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 a year in my continuing training to become better at what I do. And then all the business coaching and everything that I do. And you guys are going to get all of this, like everything that I've learned over the years and how I develop my business and all the systems and when you want to add staff or when you don't, and growing and what is it going to look like? Just everything. I'm just going to do a complete brain dump. So if this is something that you guys think you're interested in learning and doing this kind of work, there are so many people waking up. And so my spirit team is like, we need to get more people trained on doing this thing, doing these types of things and helping others heal themselves. Because again, all healing is self-healing, but there needs to be a lot of people there holding the space and guiding them and being a little bit further. Like I said, if you imagine a mountain, being a little bit further up the mountain than they are, to help lead them up the mountain, up this spiritual climb. So if this is something that you think you might want to do, and when I started doing it, I was building it around my other job. And so does it mean you're going to be working a lot of hours in the beginning? Oh, heck yeah. But that's like with any business that you're going to start. But is it worth it? Oh my gosh. Yes. To be living your purpose, to be healing people, to be helping heal people. Like, it's freaking amazing. It's amazing. And if you really think that this is part of your purpose, it's always something you can check out. So I have all the information. If you guys email me, Tracy@wokelightworker.com, I can give you the information if you're interested in the mentorship program. But like I said, I just found this company that you can finance the cost of it with too, and be able to pay it over like 4 years. So the whole idea is if you start to work in about 6 months and you're doing sessions, 1 session a month will pay your financing fee. Your I guess it's like kind of like a loan is what they give you guys. 1 session a month would pay that for you. So if you do 2, the second one is all profit. So yeah. And then with this program that I'm doing, the mentoring program, it's 12 months. So if it takes you 12 months to go through the program, it's 12 months to go through the program. If it takes you 6 months, it takes you 6 months, but you're still there for 12 months coming to the future sessions, to the, future trainings, all for 12 months. So you're going to get a lot. Like I said, I'm going to completely brain dump on everyone who's in this to give them absolutely everything that I know to save you guys the struggle and the working 80 hours a week trying to figure all this out. So I do still do sessions, but that's going to decrease probably second half of 2023. I'm going to be doing fewer and fewer and fewer because I'm going to be working on training people. I guess you want to call it more boots on the ground. So if I'm doing sessions one-on-one every day, then I'm not going to be able to be, working on training as much and writing my books. So there's books that my higher self has told me that I absolutely need to get going on. And the first one is really in-depth detailed about how our past lives impact us in the here and now, because it's really crazy. Everyone's session, there are so many things from past lives or other lives that affect us now that we carry over. Why do we carry that over? Because we're just like, we think we're like Superman or Superwoman, where we're up in the spirit realm and we're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to go down and I'm going to learn patience. I'm going to learn forgiveness. I'm going to learn unconditional love. And yeah, that anger and resentment and rage that I was carrying from the last life. Oh yeah, throw that in too. And I'm just going to deal with all that. And then we get down here and go, and we have this dad or mom or whoever that just pulls out all this anger and rage in us to put it in front of our face, because we wanted to deal with it again in this life, because we thought, oh no, I can handle this. I can do this. And then we get down here and we just get lost in the rage and we get lost in the emotion and the anger and all of that. And so then we don't do it. Right. So, but if you know about it, that's half the battle. right? If you can see that and recognize like, oh my gosh, I'm carrying that because I wanted to deal with it in this life. It wasn't for me to come down here and be rageful against my dad or my mom. It was to put it in my face. My mom was just there helping me to see it, that I was still carrying this so I could actually deal with it once and for all. Because if I don't deal with it now, then I'm going to carry it yet to a third life and try to release all this trapped rage and anger that I have. So it's really just kind of discovering a lot of that stuff too. So what have you ever come across energy or guides from the Sirius star system? The one behind me. Yes. Yes. Sirius B, I think, is where she considers that to be her home planet. But yeah, that happens. But my sessions, I haven't attracted a lot of people who, hi, Taylor. I just saw your Taylor Morgan. I just saw your email come through. I'll look at it later, hon. So careful. So, hey, careful. That can fall.
Answer the question.
So yeah, I mean, I don't do as many off-planet stuff as Dolores Cannon did, because my focus and specialty and the people who just come to me and are naturally drawn to me and attracted to me for my sessions are people who are really interested in doing a lot of healing work in this lifetime, and really, like I said, to release all the heavy, low frequency emotions and to get into that higher frequency state, to be able to really have their best life here in this planet. So
speaking of, do you have any serious books?
I don't know if I have any serious
if you
books.
Don't,
I think I do. I think I have a book on my bookshelf about the Syrians. Actually, I think I do. I always thought the earth was a meat grinder of souls. That's funny. Are there any sessions where they don't work out, or do you prep to be able to do a session?
Wait, it is a meat grinder of souls. It grinds it and makes up a beautiful meat stick for you to chop up and eat and enjoy and give love to your body.
You're so funny. Okay, hold on. Are there any sessions where they don't work out? Yeah, of course those have happened. Of course. But that's not because of anything I did, because I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sessions where they do work out. And it's just because the other person just wouldn't let go. So yes, I tell everyone you need to go to my website, wokelightworker.com, click on the videos tab and work on guided wake time. Don't fall asleep in them. Wake time meditations where you practice listening to a voice guide you to this scene or that scene, or doing this or doing that, or going to this place. And then you're following along with that and releasing the ego and not listening to the ego sabotaging you and telling you're just making it all up. And this is just, just all in your head. It's not even real. And just really just being able to be there in the moment. Because if you're not in the moment, that's when you're listening to that lower self voice, that ego voice, when you're not in the moment. And guys, oh my gosh, I got to share with you. You guys got to have something to write with. I'm barely started on this book. Like I'm like a bookaholic. Okay. This is incredible. This book, write this down. If you guys want to listen. I was going to share with you guys the message I'm getting. I know you guys have a lot of questions, but I want to share with you guys the message that I'm getting for 2023. And the message that's been coming up for me for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And it is all about surrender. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by surrender. Your brother's being loud in the kitchen.
Yeah, shut up.
My son's feeding our cats, and he just like has to bang the spoon on the plate like forever. And then the cats are standing there crying.
It's teaching you how to drown it out and have patience and love for your background.
Yes, I do have patience and love for my background. Okay.
Guys, I'm making a TikTok. Yeah, okay.
Okay. This book is called The Surrender Experiment. So write that down. I just started listening to it on Audible. It is incredible. It's called The Surrender Experiment, and it's by Michael Singer. Don't write in my journal. And it's by Michael Singer. He's the same one who wrote, what's the name of that book? That was a hugely really popular book too. His first one. I can't remember the name of it. The Untethered Soul. That was the name of his first book. So that's a really good one to read too. But the Surrender Experiment, oh my gosh, like I said, I'm barely in it. It is amazing. It's amazing. Untethered Soul, yeah, thank you, Taylor. Yep. Legend of Star Crash by Dolores Cannon. No. That is not something that I would probably. Strange and Beautiful asked me if I read Star Crash by Dolores Cannon. That's not something that I would probably invest my time. That's just me. Invest my time in right now, because it's not having to do with specifically what really interests me the most is what's going to impact and help me in my journey right here, right now, the most. And I have so many books, so many books. I try to read a book every 2 weeks. So that's what I do. I do at least one book every 2 weeks. But the Surrender Experiment. So the big thing that I'm getting from Spirit is all about surrender. So I'm going to give you guys an example, and she may still be on this call right now for TikTok, so I'm not going to name any names. But so I talked to someone, this is just an example. I talked to someone today, and she was like, well, I'm working on this and manifesting this and manifesting that and manifesting this. And we've all been there. We're all probably still there, right? Oh, I want to manifest this. I want to manifest that. But something that Michael said in the beginning of this book just really was like, really hit me, and goes in line with what my spirit team has been telling me for the past couple weeks, is the universe has been around for, whatever, forever, billions of years, whatever, however long it's been. And this planet has been here for, however long it's been here, way, way, way before we were here. And it's going to be here way, way, way long after we leave here. And then here we come along in our little life going, oh, and I want this, and I want this, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to be like this, and I want it to look like that. And we're sitting here trying to control things and control our lives. We have zero control, just FYI, we have zero control. We can put out there what we want, and we are creators, yes, but there's also a point where we want to surrender. We want to learn, what does it mean to surrender to the divine and just allow things to come for our best and highest good, and live in a state of surrender and trusting in God, trusting in the universe, trusting that Spirit knows best for us. We have a spirit council up in the spirit realm working with us all the time. We have our guides who work on behalf of our spirit council, they're like the go-between beings to lead us and guide us. And we have our higher self leading us and guiding us. And they know what we need for our journey. Our conscious lower self ego mind, or what Dolores Cannon calls Mr. Stupid Head. That's what she always said. It's Mr. Stupid Head. Our Mr. Stupid Head minds have no clue what we really need for our journey. So why don't we just stop? This is the message I'm getting from my team. Why don't we just stop all the craziness of like, oh, how do I manifest this? And I got to do this, and I got to do this manifestation technique, and I got to do this. And then if I say it just like this, and then if I do it while I'm doing this, or don't do it while I'm doing that, and if I ask this certain way, and we just drive ourselves crazy, and we're constantly thinking, how can I get this? How can I get that? How can I make this happen? How can I make this person happy? And how can I make this relationship work? And it's just like all this crazy making stuff, instead of just being and silencing that voice in us that's constantly talking to us, all this chatter, and just relax. And this book is incredible, this Surrender Experiment, because he goes on and tells you about this book that he read and how Michael Singer, the author, did what this book said and what this experience was like for him. And oh my gosh, like what the result he got was mind-blowing for me. And I don't want to spoil it or anything for you guys, because you seriously, I'm listening to it on Audible. You can read it, you can listen to it on Audible, whatever you want. It's an incredible Audible listen. But it is amazing how he was able to completely shut off and quiet those voices talking in his head. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without effort. The spiritual journey is not for the lazy. I say this all the time. It's not for the lazy. You actually have to work on it. But You work on something all the time anyway. You're working on trying to control everything around you and all this craziness going on in your head. What if we actually just let go and try to quiet those voices in our heads and just live in peace and surrender, connecting with your God self and just letting go and stop driving yourself so crazy. Talk about crazy making. That's crazy making.
Everyone's so connected to the physical and the delusion and the, like, not the actual reality, the behind the scenes reality. But when you connect to all aspects of yourself that are available to you if you want them, then there's so much more to everything.
Yeah.
To your mind, to your heart, to your life. Your life will become so much different, so much more open and easy. You'll be aware of everything that comes to you. You won't see it as...
Thank you for the roses, V-Star 950B. Thank you. Roses on TikTok. Thank you. But yeah, you got to read that book, The Surrender Experiment. Like, it's so good. And I don't even know what chapter I'm on. I took my dog for an extra long walk in the rain last night because I just didn't even want to stop listening to it because it was so good. I was just blown away at what he was saying and the change he got. So I can't wait to hear, like, I think I'm on like the end of chapter 4 or something like that. And that's it. But it is an incredible book. So what if we were to just, and you know what's wild, guys? So then I was, I got a hotel suite over the weekend, Friday and Saturday. And then today we had to leave today midday, but I got it so I could go, and I set up an altar, and I had a singing bowl. I had my candle. I have this thing, I call it my magic wand, that I just love. And I had all these note cards, and I wrote on each note card, and I have this blanket that I call my healing blanket. And I set it over this big giant like coffee table in my hotel suite. And I made this altar, and I wrote down on a 3x5 note card all the things I'm surrendering, because I don't want to have to do this anymore. And like, here's one thing, I wrote it on a note card here about just my business in general. Because I mean, yeah, I have the helping side of this business, which is the sessions and the teaching, but it's also a business, and I have the business side of things. And that's very different. I mean, the business side, it's a business. It's got to be run like a business. And then I have the helping teaching side and the whole thing together. So I wrote on here, Spirit is in charge of this business. At first I wrote my business, and I was like, wait a minute, this is not my business. This is the divine's business. Why do I want it to be mine? It's mine. I got to control it. It's mine. So I changed it, and I wrote, Spirit is in charge of this business. I just show up. Because I was sitting here letting my mind play those games with me about, oh, okay, so I can do this, and I can do this with the business. And then, because I want to free up more of my time from doing sessions to being able to write these books that my spirit team wants me to be writing. And I can't do sessions 5 days a week and write books. I just can't. And so, and run the business side of things, which takes another 20 hours a week. So I can't do all of this. And so I was just like, I'm releasing it, because I know what my team tells me they want from me. And I'm sitting here in my mind like, hey, if I grow this part of the business, then it'll free more time, because then I'll have more income coming in on this side. And if I grow this side of the business, if I pull this in, then I can do this. And it's like I said, like the crazy making again, like, how do I make all this work? And it's just like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, this isn't even my business. This isn't even my life. Surrendering completely to divine. And what does that really mean? What does that look like? So I wrote down on those note cards all of it. And then my background is Christian. And then there's this song called I Surrender All. And so there's actually 2 versions of it. One is by Hillsong Australia. I don't know if you guys know. And then there's the classic I Surrender All. All to thee, my blessed Savior, I surrender all. And I changed the words to say, all to thee, my precious Father, Father, Mother, God, whatever you want to call it, right? It's God, creator. So I just kept playing that over and over and over. I surrender all, as I stood over my altar that I had made in this hotel suite with all these 3x5 note cards and all these things that I was surrendering. And I had my crystals sprinkled all over it too, and the candle going, and I was just crying, like tears just pouring down my eyes. And I was just like, my arms up in the air, just like singing. Yeah. Just singing, like, I surrender all to thee, my precious Father. I surrender all, just with a heart of surrender, just giving it all to the divine. Like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want to have to think about this and to control this or anything. Stress about any of it, just that crazy voice again, like I said. So I was so excited to find that book, The Surrender Experiment, and I'm just like crazy about reading and listening to it now. And then the wildest thing, a lot of you probably know who Phil Good is. So I listened to him once in a while, but I was sitting at my desk at this hotel suite, and I don't know if I was journaling or something. And all of a sudden I got a notice on my phone that he was going live on Instagram. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I just went back, and then I heard, no, you need to check it out. And I was like, okay. So I turned him on, and then he's like, okay, join me on YouTube. So I went on YouTube. So he was live for 30 minutes. Guess what he talked about? Surrender. Surrender is the thing for 2023. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he's totally getting the same message. It's about surrender. And I wrote a really good a note too about it. I don't know what I did with it, but
I kept
yeah,
hearing it too, and it would pop up in those YouTube shorts. Like they turned from like TikToks to like messages from me immediately when I said like that's what I wanted, and like that came up a lot. Surrender.
Too, yeah. So I'm not the only one hearing it for 2023, but yeah, like it started about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago with my spirit team. Like, you just need to stop. Because here I was at the end of the year going, okay, I need to do planning for the new business year. And, all this crazy voice like starts coming up again. And, we're going to do this and it's going to look like this. And I was like, no, we just need to surrender. Would you recommend it before The Untethered Soul? I want to read both, but there's so many books. Oh my God. I know, right, Taylor? There's so many books. Tell me about it. That's why you got to try to get in like 2 books a week or a book every 2 weeks. Because it's like, how are you going to read all these books otherwise? But I know that mindvalley.com has a really good course. I'm going to take it, but it has a really good course on speed reading that's supposedly like really, really good. And I have a subscription to mindvalley.com, but yeah, I want to do that. But I'm constantly, like I walk my dog an hour and a half every single day. So then I'm listening to audiobooks. Like when we're done with this, I'm going to go walk my dog and listen to Michael Singer and the Surrendering Experiment for another hour and a half tonight. So I'm super excited about that. But I would say I would probably start with the Surrender Experiment, because I'm telling you, it's really good. And if that's the big theme for many of us, I'm not saying it's for everyone, but if it's that's a big theme for a lot of us and coming now into 2023, oh heck yeah, I would be all on what does it mean to surrender, and looking at what that means for you. Let me see. Is that your daughter? Yes, that's my daughter, Cherish, Chair Bear. I call her Chair Bear. What does surrender look like for you? It's not trying to control it. That's what I'm saying. Like, instead of saying, I surrender my business, this isn't my business. I took out the whole word my to begin with. It's like, no. Like on my note card here, my affirmation that I keep on my computer, I look at it while I'm doing my sessions. It's literally right on my keyboard here. And it says, Spirit is in charge of this business. I just show up. Because guys, there is a lot. If you guys don't have your own business, oh my God, it's like, I want to have my own business. It's going to be so amazing. Yeah. Wait till you get into it. It's amazing because you have a lot of flexibility, but it's also amazing because you get to work a lot of hours. It's also amazing. What a big learning curve it is. It's a huge learning curve. So, and it's a learning curve for me to figure out, now my business is pivoting and shifting, like I said. So it's going to be more, Anetta, I got your email. We'll read it later and respond. it's pivoting now. My spirit team showed me 2023, we're taking this business and we're taking a hard right. And it's not going to be doing sessions 5 days a week anymore. It's not going to be doing the same old that you've been doing. It's going to look totally different. We're pivoting the business. You're going to be training more people to be like you. So there's more than just one of you out there doing this stuff. You're not the only one that can do this. You're going to be training people how to do exactly what you do, but then opening the space. Like I said, if you're interested in learning this, email me at tracy@wokelightworker.com because I'll give you the information on this mentor program that I'm starting. But
stretch, guys.
Our big thing is stretching.
Part of your body. I've been working on that so much lately.
I know, but don't knock over my thing.
And it's, oh my gosh, my body.
But yeah, that there needs to be a lot more people out there doing this because there's so many people waking up. There's so many people waking up, and you have been through certain things that you're going to attract people to you that are going to align with your energy. Just everyone's going to attract people that work with, that are going to align with their energy, their experiences, what they've been through. And so there's room for everyone, guys. There's no competition. This is not lower self. This is working with higher self. And so I'm supposed to be writing books where I can reach way more people. With all the stuff, I have enough stuff from my sessions for, I don't even know how many books, lots and lots and lots of books. So I want to be bringing all this amazing information to everyone and just doing sessions maybe once a week, twice a week at the most.
I had a dream the other night.
What'd you have a dream?
And my dreams lately have been real and very vivid and messages for me. And one of my dreams the other night was I saw you in a class. You were teaching a class, and everyone had like really, really nice rooms, really spiritual rooms, most of them. And like some were like literally just full out stretching, some were like drinking water and like jogging, like some were like had an altar in front of them, some were just like they were all like doing their own thing. It seemed like so like fluid and so comfortable, and they were all just like joining in on a conversation with you. Oh yeah, Tracy, you don't know what like you guys were just like, it was like a community, it was like it had really good energy, and you had been used to it for a while, and like everyone just like really enjoyed it. And then you were like, I was thinking like maybe going into like a guided meditation studio. And they were like, oh yes, please, let's do that. Yeah, actually, how about, can we make it 15 minutes instead of 10 minutes? Yeah, sure, guys. Like they actually.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having a lot more vivid dreams too. It was weird, like when I got that hotel suite, specifically for the purpose of like just surrendering and meditating, and I did a little bit of releasing and healing for myself. And I just had super, super like realistic, vivid dreams both nights that I spent in the hotel. And first thing I did when I got there was I dedicated the room for this purpose, and I let off love bombs. And I don't know if you guys, I think I said on my first TikTok and YouTube live ever what a love bomb is, but it's going into any place, your house, wherever you want. And I just put a little like bomb, quote unquote, bomb on every floor. And I let it go, and I imagine it, again, it's using your right side of your brain, your imagination, and I let it go, I let it detonate, and then I just picture in my mind, I visualize in my mind all of this like pink smoke going out everywhere, and I watch it fill every nook and cranny in every room, every corner, all the way up to the ceiling, in every floor that you have or in that entire hotel suite, and just filling every crack and crevice with light, and anything that's not of the light can't stay because the light dispels darkness. And so I let off a couple of love bombs in that hotel suite, and I let them off in my house all the time too, but feel free to take that one and use that, guys. Let me see. Cherish. Nat Marie said, I claim my spot in the room. That's funny. Guys, it's funny because I did, I don't always ask this at the end of my hypnosis sessions or, my higher self hypnosis sessions, but I asked this one girl's higher self one time. I'm like, so how did her and I meet? I mean, I know she found me on TikTok, but like really, how did her and I meet? Like what determined that she was going to be coming to me and doing a session with me. And her higher self said, oh, you were up in like a, let's just say it's like a chat room, like an in-person, like an astral chat room. And
Like a
you were,
lounge room.
yeah, like a lounge with a bunch of other light workers. And she came in the room and said what she was looking for and what she wanted. And you two got paired up, and, you know, you were the one who was able to, you know, help her with whatever it was she needed. So I guess I was just hanging out in like this spiritual like lounge in the astral, and that's how she found me. And then, you know, in the spirit and energetically, that's how she found me. And then, you know, of course the universe arranged it, because this is all just a simulation anyway down here. The universe arranged it that she would actually come across me on TikTok and feel drawn to do a session with me. So I thought that was pretty funny. I had another session one time and I asked the same question. I'm like, so how did her and I like get connected? And the answer was, oh, you two were childhood friends on Mars. And I know I've had other lives on Mars, because I've had a spontaneous past life memory from Mars. One time when I was sitting at my desk, this was years ago, and I was just new into spirituality, like maybe like a year into it. And I was sitting at my desk, and this whole scene literally flipped into my mind, like out of nowhere, because I was working like my matrix job. And it was like this whole scene of me going back to Mars. And I was standing there after it was completely obliterated. And I was standing there in the devastation, not in physical form. I could tell I didn't have a physical body. It was like my energetic body or whatever went back there. And it was just like all red dust, and everything was just blown to smithereens. And I was just crying. And I was just so sad, because I just kept hearing this, my beloved Mars, look what's happened to my beloved Mars. And I was so sad. And I was like, oh my God, like what happened? What was that? And I was like, oh, and I heard of something later. It was called spontaneous past life regression. And I was like, oh, I guess that's what it was. Because it was just so vivid and I could feel it. Like I actually had tears in my eyes after I saw that scene, because I was so sad that my Mars had been destroyed. And so apparently this woman and I used to be childhood friends on Mars. So
do you remember what you told me about how sometimes you can remember stuff that may not be your memory, but it can feel like your memory, and you
right,
can feel
imprints.
all the emotions.
Yeah.
And you told me a story one time from a hypnosis session where someone had an experience like that, where they went back to their Mars and they were so devastated by it. Maybe after that, it's left some connection with you. And
no, this was before I started doing sessions.
oh, really?
I had that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this was when I was pretty new on my spiritual journey. You were just a little girl then. Little. I just had a similar experience talking to a friend of mine. We were celestial beings. I love that. Nell Star said that. Yeah, I love that. Let me see. What other kind of questions we got? Let me see. Let me see. Oops. Oh, I lost it. Would you recommend? Oh, I already answered that one. Let me see. Jumba. Hi. Alex is on here. Jumba. Let me see. When you are triggered, sit with the pain. Literally notice where on your body you're feeling it. Yep, 100%. Let me see.
Or maybe like sometimes if you're like watching something will pop up and it'll completely resonate with it, and you know, or someone will walk in and say something.
So Grayman679 said, "Is she a Hollywood actress?" Are you talking about my daughter? I don't know who he's talking about.
I am not in this present moment, but I will be in the coming years. So therefore, yes, I am.
That's funny. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Control is an illusion. 100%. Control is an illusion. How can I tell my guides speaking to me are not, in fact, me being schizophrenic? Well, first of all, you have to stop listening to your ego telling you that you're schizophrenic, because schizophrenic, that's a name that the Matrix gives people who think differently. It just is. So
You can ask for signals if you're not for certain that you're actually
ask for
hearing.
signs, right?
And just really quieting your mind and calming your mind, it always helps, because if your brain is scattered and you're trying to say, like, help me, tell me it, but you're thinking about a lot of different things, you're like, please just let me hear it. Like, that's what I do so many times throughout the day, and I'll hear from my ego and I'll be like, why am I getting like 50 different voices? And you think you're schizophrenic because your mind isn't calmed and quieted. You're not in the right state to hear or receive. You're not trying to receive, you're trying to get the easy path. You don't want,
Yeah, synchronicity. She said she gets, oh, thank you, V Star 950 for the rose. Thank you. So synchronicities, that's guys, this is all a simulation down here. It's all a simulation, like all this stuff. We're the ones who create the synchronicities to show our human minds, our conscious minds, our lower self minds, that there is another higher aspect of us, that there is the spirit part out there. And so we're the ones who are putting these in the simulation. I mean, just think of the movie Matrix, and you have all these, these things that come up for us. We arrange this stuff. Our team arranges this stuff for us to just remind us that we're not alone down here, that there is the spirit. So again, I would recommend that book, like I said, The Surrender Experiment, so that you can see, like I said, I'm not done with it yet, but it's incredible. See what it's like to completely surrender. And you need to just trust. You need to trust that voice, as long as it's loving and positive, that it is your spirit team. I mean, what can go wrong listening to a loving, positive voice that you hear in your head?
You can feel the difference in and like your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. You can feel the difference of when you're hearing from maybe your ego or a part of the divine. Like, if you sit down and you start thinking about something, pay attention to that thought, negative or positive. It's obviously coming up for a reason, to help you in some way, and it's something you need to address.
If it's negative, it's telling you that you're hearing from your lower self. Okay, the book again is called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. That's the book I'm recommending now, because that's the one I'm just into, that I'm just totally loving. The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. He's the same guy who wrote The Untethered Soul.
I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if you are hearing from your ego and it may be something negative, then you need to think and communicate with yourself. Why is my ego trying to bring that up? Is that something that I need to work on? Is that something that I need to heal? Is that something that I need to pay attention to, so I can be in complete resonance with all aspects of myself, so I don't react that way again or look at it that way again? It's like everything. I don't think there's more to say, but I was trying to say more.
That's funny. Okay. Let me see. I saw a question. Jumba says hi. So Alex, I need to bring Cherish's dog Gracie over, because Gracie wants to have playmates, and I want to bring my husky Shadow over to play with Jumba. So Alex has he lives in my town, and he has a husky, and we met at the dog park. So that was pretty cool.
And we have a husky.
And so
a little dog too.
I'd love to bring them over to your yard sometime, so they can run around and act crazy in your yard.
And bring the little dog for Gracie.
Yeah, he's got a little.
You didn't.
My ex was severely addicted to hard drugs. I believe he might have dark entities attached to him. Oh, that's very common when someone's involved with any kind of addiction, sex addiction, drugs, alcohol, anything like that. Hi, Jackie. I got your message. Your email just came through about learning more about my mentorship program. So I'll get back to you.
Could be dark entities. Or just something that they need
dark energies, dark entities. Yeah, and sometimes those things follow us from life to life. So yeah, we can take care of that in higher self hypnosis sessions. We can find out what's there, why it's there, how we can get rid of it. It's once in a great while, guys. I will tell you this, that it's not very often, less than a handful of times, where I have not been able to get rid of it, even working with the person's higher self. Because, well, I shouldn't say that. Not working with the person's higher self, where the dark entity was trying to pretend it was the person's higher self. And I knew it wasn't the person's higher self. So then I would call in some other beings to help remove it, whether it's the angels or the Arcturians from Arcturus, or Creator, and remove it. But there's been probably maybe 2 or 3 times only ever that I wasn't able to remove it. And I think it was more than one being where I wasn't able to remove it. So I started telling people now, look, I do higher self hypnosis. I don't do entity removal. If an entity comes up while we're doing a session, I'll do everything I know to remove it, but that's not my specialty. If you brought entities with you, it's not my responsibility to remove them. It's yours. They're yours for the time being. That's part of your journey to get those removed if you want them removed. I do higher self hypnosis, so I'll do everything I can. But if they're not going to get removed, it's not really on me. So I don't want anybody getting mad at me because they come and they discover that they have entities attached to them. And I do everything I know in my experience to do to get rid of them. And if they're not removed, it's not so I don't want anybody getting mad at me. It's not my fault that you walked in with entities, even though you didn't know it, and I wasn't able to remove them, because that's not what I specialize in. Just be clear. Calm down, right? No. I had a situation recently where that happened. And
the person might not be ready to release them.
They wanted them released, and I wasn't able to. So these beings,
because maybe they want it released, but they're not ready on a soul level.
Well, I don't know what the reason was.
I'm just saying,
but they just weren't released. It could be anything. So, but they just weren't released. But that's not my specialty. So I actually have resources I can send you to, if that is the case. That I definitely gave her to. So. Let me see what else we got here. Yes, and I always told him to take accountability and responsibility for his own demons, but he didn't. And that's fine. Moon Mountain Fairy. It's his journey, right? It's his journey. If he doesn't want to, he can deal with them as many lifetimes as he wants.
It's not your responsibility either.
It's not your responsibility at all.
So don't stress yourself out trying to
it's his
fix
journey.
Him and help him if he doesn't want the help.
Yeah. There's only 2 times we can help other people. And I know I say this like in every single live. There's only 2 ways we can help other people. 1 is if they ask us for help. And 2 is just by living our life and being an example for other people to see and follow. But otherwise, we don't help people. It's their journey. We got to learn how to let go and mind our own business and really just allow people to have their own journey, whatever that looks like. You might say, oh my gosh, but it's so awful and it's so painful to watch him just just almost kill himself with these hard drugs. That's his journey. You guys, I hear so many times, there's so many things that these people are learning, these souls are learning through addiction. We don't get it, that this is a planet of duality. This is a planet of duality. We learn the light by experiencing the dark. That's how we learn. Let them learn experiencing dark. It's totally fine. We have been there many times, us, the ones learning by experiencing the dark. And no, it's just like a woman who's involved with an abusive relationship, or I guess a man too, for that matter. You're not going to leave until you're good and ready to leave. No one's going to make you leave. You can see that the guy or the woman is like abusive to you and they're not good for you, but there's something that's holding you there and not allowing you to go and move on. And you're not going to leave until you're ready. I know, because I had a narcissistic first husband and I was not going to leave until I was good and ready to leave. And you're just not going to force anyone. It's their journey. You got to let them do their journey. Like that saying, those bumper stickers, right? Let go and let God. You're not responsible for anyone else's journey. So it's totally fine. How would that be fixed? I don't know what you mean, Julian, by how that be fixed. Sorry. Agree with you, Cherish. The soul is most likely not ready to release it. Sometimes there is karma with the entities. Sometimes there's karma with the entities. But a lot of times what I see with these dark entities that are attached to us or that follow us from life to life is we picked it up somewhere. So I know I told this story in my last live. This woman in another life was, I think, a little child, maybe a little boy, and watched a demonic ceremony, like a sacrificial ceremony, and was like sneaking in the woods and like watching it and picked up a demon there. And that demon followed her through numerous lives, including to this one. And so her higher self had it removed. I don't know if it was a demon or a dark entity, but had it removed, and she just picked it up there as a child, like, and it just like stuck to her and followed her. So there was really no karma or anything. It was just kind of just got stuck to her. So you're amazing. I have a neuropathy. Can my higher self heal that? That's absolutely something, Sheila, that you can ask your higher self. We can ask your higher self, what did you decide you wanted to experience that for? What was the lessons or the experiences you wanted to have by having that? And then are you meant to, get it cured in this lifetime? And what does that look like? And hey, higher self, how about if you just do that? And so that's all part of, again, the psychic surgery and just learning more about that during the intake session of a higher self hypnosis session, or learning how to use, like I said earlier, the right side of your brain, the creative part of your brain, to find ways to heal it. I mean, no one taught me how to heal myself physically, and I've healed myself of several incurable things. I just used the right side of my brain and really relied on my spirit team to teach me, and didn't poo-poo or disbelieve anything that came in my head. I really just grabbed onto it and was like, yep, let's do that. Make my bed into a sacred healing chamber every night. Oh, heck yeah. Okay, what does that look like? Oh, yeah, it looks like this. Yep, let's make it look like that. Let's go with that. Ooh, how are we going to decorate it? Oh, who's there? Oh, it's going to be the Arcturians. It's going to be all these archangels. It's going to be Archangel Raphael and his whole crew of healing angels. It's going to be my spirit guides. It's going to be my higher self. Oh, yeah, and they're going to be watching over me all night, and they're going to do this, and it's going to look like this, and really just go with it. Make it all up. Feel like you're totally making it up, and just make it up.
Because you're not
You're
making
creating
it up. You're creating. It can seem stupid or like just like, what am I even thinking of? I'm going on this whole rant, imagining this crazy scenario. No, it's reality. This whole world was created from imagination and thought and creation. And any healing that you actually want and are ready for done, any activation, anything. It's from here, allowing and openness and just complete, just no blockages, completely open and ready. That's just the only way to put it.
Yeah. So Maggie said, no, I'm sorry. Eyes of gray sky. Having a narcissistic ex is something I'm hearing from a lot of light workers. Oh, I know. I sure had that. Yep. They're good teachers, guys. That's the whole thing. They're really good teachers because they will teach you, like, they will trample your boundaries. They will call you every name. They will teach you, like I said, Earth is a planet of duality or contrast, right? They will teach you all the stuff on the dark end so that you're like, oh, heck no, I'm finally tired of all this after they, come at you so many times, beat you down into nothing. And then you're finally like, okay, I need to learn what it means to actually step in my power and go the other direction. And so they're great teachers. Everybody in your life is a teacher. We don't need to hold on to anger. We don't need to hold on to resentment for mom, dad, brothers, sisters, nobody. Guys, these people are just teachers teaching you everything that you, be it you directly, your higher self, or your guides or your spirit council, that's part of your soul path for you to learn. Every one of these people are a teacher, and it doesn't matter what the experience is. It doesn't matter if you're like, well, no, it can't be because this one's really horrible. There's no way that I chose this person to be my teacher.
Why is it so bad for me? Why do I have to, I don't deserve this. Why do I have to deal with such pain and such, like, well, this person just won't stop. Well, it won't stop if you're not ready for it to stop.
They're going to be a teacher in your life as long as you need them to be a teacher. And when you no longer need the teacher, then you either get away from the teacher or they'll fall out of your life, for the most part.
No one will pull you.
There's
to
exceptions to everything.
graduation.
I will tell you that, because I've seen some exceptions in my cells, my sessions. I mean, cells in my sessions. There's exceptions to everything. So I say that and say, yeah, there are some few minor exceptions, but that's the rarity. But these people are all teachers. Everyone in your life is a teacher for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So which one is it?
No one will pull you to graduation. You have to get there by putting in the work. And the work is every situation, every day,
Mhm.
every instance, every person, looking at what you need to learn from it, how you can handle it in the most graceful and
Loving.
loving, and I'm trying to think of the word, like receptive way, or like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, being in acceptance.
No,
So
that's not what I mean.
no?
I mean like yeah, being in acceptance, but I mean like just receiving it and accepting it. I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of. Whatever.
So this is ego wanting and needing for things to be different than what they are. Being in flow, like we talked about earlier, and being in surrender. This is what my spirit team has been telling me too. So being in surrender is accepting everything that's happened in the past and is happening currently now, accepting everything exactly as it is, without the need, and we'll talk about that word need, without the need for it to be anything different. And the need is not a need. You call it a need. It's your ego wanting things to be different, wanting to change things, wanting to control things. That's the ego. That's not your higher self. That's your lower self. So being in flow, being in surrender, is accepting everything exactly as it is, without the need for it to be anything different. And that's what it is, knowing that there's something in it for you. Maybe it's you're supposed to just get away from this person or this situation because you're supposed to have strong personal healthy boundaries, and staying in that situation or interacting with that person and allowing them to be in your life is not that's the lesson, is get away from them.
They say something that hurts you and you allow it. You allow them to continue saying and doing things to hurt you, and you wonder, well, why can't they just treat me better? Well, why do you let them treat you like that?
Mm-hmm.
If you are aware of your feelings and how you feel from anything that anyone else does to you, you're not trapped with them. You, even if you feel like it, there's one way or another that you can choose the higher frequency, the higher words that someone will give you,
Mm-hmm.
the higher situation,
even if it's a spouse, right? And you're like, well, how would I make it financially? Okay, so maybe you take the hard road. Maybe it's hard for a little bit, but it's going to be hard because it's going to be a lesson you're going to remember longer. Because if it was easy to get out of it, how memorable would that be? You just find yourself in the same twisted situation again. If it wasn't difficult and painful to get out of, thank you for the rose, Omar. If it was easy to get out of, then it wouldn't be as memorable. I mean, you'd just be like, oh, okay, well, and then you'll find yourself with another partner or, romantic interest. This is just like that again. And you wouldn't have learned it. Sometimes things have got to be difficult, and that's how we learn the best. It's like, oh, heck no, I'm not going through that again. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I ended up living in a homeless shelter for 6 months because I depended on that person financially, or they wiped me out financially. And then I ended up in a homeless shelter, me and my kids, because we didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't have anything to do. We didn't have anyone we could depend on, but you got out. And I do know someone who went through that situation. She had to get out of this. She had to get out of that situation because she was like, I'm not staying in that anymore. I'm not staying in that abuse. I'm not staying in that situation. I don't care what I have to do. And took her and her kids, went to a shelter, lived in a shelter for 6 months to get out of that situation, and built herself up from there. And it was a lesson she did not want to repeat again anytime soon, because that's not a fun way to have to go through it. But you know what? She came out stronger from doing it. And it was a really good lesson. I mean, that she wanted to learn.
When
She
you
wanted to learn
choose
how to be in her own
yourself in the
power, to
end,
choose herself. Yeah.
when you choose yourself in the end, you will always come out stronger.
Mhm.
Instead of like, because people, you'll see the first sign of this doesn't make me feel good, and it's as simple as that. This doesn't make me feel good. So why do you continue to choose it, hoping that it's going to become different? It's just going to get worse and just take form of new masks, new situations, new words, new anything, and it'll keep coming up worse and different until you choose the higher frequency for yourself,
Mhm.
not for them. If they're choosing the lower frequency and pushing it towards you, well, that's their choice. You don't have to choose to take it, to
Mhm.
receive it, and let it affect you.
Yeah. Yeah, Taylor, right? Life becomes so easy when you look at it like this.
Yeah.
That's why, okay, so that's why I'm teaching this class starting January 10th, guys, called Connecting to Your Higher Self, because I want to show you guys how incredibly more peaceful your life is when you live from the perspective of your higher self versus living from your lower self and living in the drama and the trauma and the emotions. So again, I only have my half price sale going on through January 2nd, which is tomorrow. So go to my website, wokelightworker.com, under my courses, and it's 4 weeks. If you can't be there in person, you'll get the replay. It's Connecting to Your Higher Self. We're going to talk all about the difference between the ego, the higher self, and how can you live, think, act, be more of your higher self every day, more every day. Let's take baby steps every single day, every single day, every single day. What do you do? Because you're going to have so much more peace versus riding the roller coaster of all the emotions and the ups and downs of your lower self, because your lower self is just complete chaos. And I don't know about you guys. I'm done living like that. I'm totally done living like that. Am I perfect? Am I always in my higher self? Heck no, I'm not. But I'm a completely different person than I used to be before I did. And it's just night and day. I would never trade it for anything. All of the time and effort and energy that I spent doing the healing work and connecting to my team and hearing from my higher self and inundating myself with books and reading and readings and listening to all of the, teachings that I do. And oh my gosh, so worth it. Because, oh, Kristen, thank you for the rose. Thank you. Because this time is going to go past anyway. You're going to be a year older, 2 years older, 5 years older, 10 years older. And why would you want to be spinning your wheels in the same muddy hole that you have been up to this point in your life, instead of actually being like, you know what? No, it stops here. It stops now. I'm totally going to change my life. I mean, guys, I have my journal. I talked to a woman today. We booked her in a session. My Conscious Creators Daily Journal, Create a Life You Want to Live in 15 minutes a day. This is for sale on Amazon. You can just look it up under my name, Tracy Ventura. But this journal, she said she's been working it since October, and she said her life is totally changed. So this is a journal where every single day you write down, it's a certain number of things, like the 4 must-dos every day. I told you I got a video called the 4 must-dos every day on my YouTube channel. That's like spiritual hygiene. It's cleansing your energetic space, grounding yourself, cutting energetic cords. What did I say? And clearing your energy and shielding yourself. The 4 must-dos, right? Then what is your affirmation for the day? What are you going to focus on today? What's a new thought you're going to have in the back of your mind to focus on all day, so that when that ego mind, that lower self starts churning out all this negative stuff or negative self-talk, you're going to be like, oh no, I hear that going on. What's my affirmation for today? Okay, my affirmation is going to be, let me look at my one here that I pulled up.
And just trust what you hear when you think of an affirmation. Like, because even if it doesn't make sense to you at the moment, it could be something that will help you immensely throughout that day.
Yeah, like
that it'll come up in situations and you'll be like, you know what? It actually fits. It
Yeah.
actually, like, that's actually, well, yeah, obviously, nothing's coincidental.
Here's my one that I had for November 25th. Nothing that's meant for me will pass me by. I love that. So if I start worrying like, oh, what about this? And what if I do this? And how do I get this? It's like, oh, wait, nothing that's meant for me will pass me by. Like, how much peace does that give you rather than the crazy making monkey mind that we have going on in our head? So you're going to pick your affirmation. I've got 33 pages of affirmations in the back here. Like, a lot of really good affirmations that are my affirmations that I've used for years. Then you're going to pick a body part that you're going to focus on every single day, a different body part to show that body part love. It's part of self-love, part of loving yourself. Like, I picked my rhomboideus minor and my rhomboideus major. Who the heck knows what that is, right? I didn't till I grabbed my anatomy book out and went, what is that muscle that's like really causing me a lot of pain, like on a repeated basis? My rhomboideus minor and major. And then I sent them a message of love and gratitude for everything they've done and apologized to them for not even recognizing them or even acknowledging or sending them love until they actually started screaming at me for some reason. I know what the reason is now, but I didn't know then. Why they were screaming at me, causing me so much pain. They were like yelling at the top of their lungs, hello. They were trying to tell me that my meridians were off, that I needed more energy flow in the meridians in my body. I didn't know. I just knew they were screaming and causing me a crap ton of pain every time I did sessions on my neck going all the way down to my shoulder blade. And so then I started doing acupuncture. I listened to my spirit team, started doing acupuncture, and oh my gosh, like, I guess I have a lot of energy and my meridians are unblocked and flowing now because I feel like a completely new person. So now I do that every week, but I didn't know why, but I apologized to them for them having to scream at me loudly for me to even know. So it's just choosing a different body part every day and giving it attention and focus and love, and not always waiting until it screams at you first.
And it's like me and stretching, like my body, that's like her acupuncture was like my stretching. Now, like they're annoyed because like I'm always stretching like every part of my body, but like I don't know, it's become like a constant thing for me. Like I don't any tension whatsoever. I feel it. I start stretching, and I send love or whatever kind of healing, I imagine, whatever. But so physically stretching is my thing, and so it's like whatever is for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this is like, and there's more in here, like making your I am statements. Like here's 3 of my I am statements for the other day. I am strong in mind, body, and spirit. I am the hero of my life. I am completely safe on my own, right? So not being married, like being a single mom. I am completely safe on my own. And for a lot of women, that can be really scary, right?
On my own physically, because you're not alone.
Right.
Actually.
Right. And then what are you going to create today? I wrote, I am a creator. Today I intend to create. And these were what I put in the blanks. Space to learn new ideas and concepts I was taking a training class. And then a healthy vegetarian meal for me. And then movement in my body. So that's what I wrote. So it's just creating the life you want to live by setting the intention every day about what are you going to do intentionally, because otherwise your day just comes and whatever happens. You're like, oh, I'm going to try to do this maybe, or this, but you're not really setting the intention. So for 15 minutes, focusing time, you can do your spiritual hygiene of cutting the cords and grounding yourself and all of that. It's a reminder. And then set the intention for the day and choose your affirmation that you're going to choose to put that new thought, program your mind with that new thought. Maybe it's the same affirmation for a week or 2 weeks. Maybe it's a different one every day. But what are you going to start programming your mind with? Because you've got all this other stuff in there that you don't want. So we want to get that pushed out. If we want to create a different life, we have to do things differently. We all know that. And so what are the new thoughts and the new programs that you're going to be putting in your mind? So you get a new page every single day. I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. You get a new page every day. And then on the back, there's notes. So I'll show it to YouTube too. And then, like I said, in the back, there's 33 pages of affirmation. So again, you guys can get this on Amazon. And like the woman that I spoke to today, who's been doing it since October, she's like, oh my gosh, this thing has changed my life. I really feel a lot more in my power. Oh, thank you, Tick Tones for 5 roses. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. So this will help you 15 minutes a day create a life you want. You guys can get this on Amazon. Just punch in my name if you forget the name of it, the Conscious Creators Daily Journal. You can just punch in Tracy Ventura. And then guess what? When I was looking through here, I found the note card that I made yesterday about surrender. So I'm going to read to you guys what's on here. And I told you I was listening to this guy named Phil Good. And so I took some notes about what he said. And 2 things I wrote down that he said. Surrendering aligns me to the highest reality available to me. Like, how awesome is that? We're talking about surrender. And again, I'm recommending that book called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. But I'll read this again. Surrendering to the divine, surrendering aligns me to the highest reality available to me. So instead of us trying to create the reality that we think we want, I'm going to manifest this and I'm going to get this, how could we even possibly know if what we want in our mind is our highest reality that's available to us? No, that's just what our our low self ego mind wants. How in the world could we possibly know if that's our highest reality available to us? Wouldn't it be just way better to just surrender and surrender to the highest reality available to us? Is it going to be like the ultimate perfect, I'm going to be this billionaire, whatever? No, the highest reality available to me at the time, right? For where you're at energetically, where you're at spiritually, and where you are in your journey and what's best for your journey. They're not going to steer you wrong.
Even if it seems like difficult. Again, like you're in a difficult situation or with difficult people and painful situations, it still is in your best and highest alignment. You just have to overcome those obstacles to get to the bright side.
And trust, right?
Trust and work towards coming out the other end of it in yourself, and you'll never get the wrong path if you trust. And
awesome journal. TikTok. Tick Jones said, thank you. Tick Tones. Sorry.
And once again, if you keep also choosing the higher vibration and what you eat, what you think about, what you want to look at, what you want to watch, what you want to listen to, whatever brings you the highest vibration, feeling, joy, and throughout your day, focus, with the journal, everything she said. And then also, if things come up that you may not have expected that will also bring you joy, then follow that.
And then the other thing, the other note that I took, this is awesome, guys. This is Phil Good said this. He said, the now, so being in the now is God's unconditional love. The absence of God's love is being outside of the now and being in fear. So whenever we're in the past, like, oh, this person did this and this was such an awful experience, or we're in the future, like worried about what's going to happen with my business, what's going to happen with my job, what's going to happen in the economy. You're not in the now. God's love and the only real thing, we've heard this before, the only real thing is the now. That other stuff is not in the now. It's not happening now. It's not real. It's all in your mind, right? All those things we worry about, they're just in your mind. All those things in the past, they're done. That's just in your mind. It's not in the now. None of that's happening in the now unless you're in the now. And he said, the now is God's unconditional love. And the absence of God's love is being outside of the now. Because when you're outside of the now, you're in fear. So, and then he said, I am declining God's love if I'm not in the now. I am declining God's love if I'm not in the now. And you're choosing to be in fear, right? You're not choosing to be in love and to walk in the love available to you in the now moment. So I thought that was really, really powerful. I wanted to share with you guys. So
thinking about the past for healing, that's another thing. But actually focusing on the now, being in the now, they're not. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. And somebody else asked about my sessions. If you guys want information on doing a higher self, well, it's not just higher self, it's a past life session, it's a life in between lives regression, and it's talking to your higher self. So this is an all-day thing. We're talking all day. You guys are going to be with me for 3 hours if you do a session, 3 hours in the morning, where I'm going to get to learn everything about you. I do a lot of intuitive coaching in the morning too. I will tell you guys, people tell me all the time, and I know because I'm channeling my whole session. Like I set the tone. I do this little ritual in my mind to completely be connected to my spirit team, to my higher self when I do these sessions. And I give a lot of, I call it intuitive coaching because I don't even know where the words are coming from or the teaching or the ideas. And people's lives, my clients' lives, get completely changed just from the first half of the session before they even go into the meditative state where we're talking to their higher self or looking at a past life, because of the intuitive coaching that my spirit team gives me to share with them for different things that they're experiencing in their life, or helping them look at things from a completely different perspective. And so that's the first half of the day. And then the second half of the day is, again, where we look at a past life, we look at what you do in between lives, and then I teach you, show you how to bring forth your higher self, to channel your higher self, that part of you that's always there, it's always talking to you, but quieting the ego enough so you can just hear from that higher aspect of you. And again, I want to mention again, if anyone's interested in learning how to do this and you really think it's your purpose, you really think it's part of your passion, you want to do something with this, send me an email, tracy@wokelightworker.com. It's an investment, it's training, it's a whole business in a box. You're going to learn everything from how to do this to starting and setting up the whole business side of things. You're going to get the whole thing. And this includes the thousands and thousands of dollars I spend on training every single year, in addition to business coaching that I get, that I spend thousands of dollars on, many thousands of dollars on every year for my business coaching. And I'm taking everything that I've learned and my trial and error and starting all of this and setting it all up to be part of my mentorship program. So if that's something you guys are interested in learning more about, not just like, oh, this would be fun. No, this is if you really want to be serious about it and make a career out of it and do something like that. And there is financing. I'm going to be setting up with a financing company so you guys can finance this, but it's a business in a box. And it's not like you have to come up with $500,000 to start a Subway franchise and hope you have a good enough location that it doesn't die the next year. Within the first year, I should say. This is, a minuscule fraction of that, to be able to start your own business in a box, because there are so many people waking up that need healers. I guess we call ourselves healers, holding the space for others to heal themselves and to teach them and show them and be the example of them on how they can get in touch with their higher self. And so you just be another person helping them to realize that there is someone or something, another aspect of them that they can rely on and depend on, that has all the answers that they're looking for. So do you offer sessions? Yeah, all my sessions are online. So if you guys go to my YouTube channel, you can punch in Woke Light Worker and you can see my sessions. These are some of my sessions. There's more sessions on patreon.com under the name Woke Light Worker. That's where my newer sessions go. But you can watch all of my sessions. And those were all recorded on WebEx, which is just like Zoom. And they were all recorded out there. So you guys can actually watch them. You can watch the intake portion where I learn all about the client. And then you can watch the hypnosis portion. Once they're, nice and relaxed, then I turn the record button on when they're in a past life. And the life might be, like I said, on Earth. It might be on another planet. Let me see what else. Awesome journal. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Oh, Earth is, I can't see your name. Thank you for the roses. 3 roses. Thank you. And then a Christmas stocking. That's cool. Thank you for that. Wow. Earth is alive. Ooh, I love that name. Earth is alive. Yeah. Cool. And again, tomorrow is the last day to catch my Connecting to Your Higher Self class for half price. So if you guys go to wokelightworker.com, you can not only you'll be able to get my free meditation on meeting your higher self. You can get my free meditation by giving me your email address. And then you can also check out my course that's connecting to your higher self that starts January 10th. And again, if you can't be there in person, or any of them, you can't be there in person, you'll get the replay. So you'll be able to get there. But we're going to talk about ego, higher self. What is it like to live more as your higher self? And we're going to do little exercises on how to do that too. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be awesome. Right, Cheers? It's going to be awesome. And guess what? Oh my gosh, guys, I have a big announcement. So I am becoming, so I do something called theta healing inside of my hypnosis sessions. And I've done theta healing for a number of years. Theta healing, if you've never heard of it, is an incredibly powerful healing modality. Whether you do a higher self hypnosis session with me, or you just do theta healing on your own, OMG. I did the first 3 levels of theta healing. It's called basic DNA, advanced theta healing, and then dig deeper. And she's done those too. She just recently finished them. Are they amazing or what?
They're amazing.
Amazing.
But you shouldn't fall asleep during that.
Yeah, you shouldn't fall asleep during the class.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to when you stay up till 3 a.m. and then the class starts at 9 a.m. for sure.
You know what? You should make yours later.
Yeah. Well, anyway, listen. So here's the exciting part. So I am in training for about 10 days this month, January, to become an instructor for theta healing. And I'm super excited about it. So starting in February, I'm going to be offering theta healing classes too. And so I need to look at exactly if they have very specific requirements. I have to use their pricing. I can't negotiate on prices. Like, it's not allowed. They're very strict about their program in teaching theta healing. So I'm going to learn more when I go to the instructor training, but I don't know if it has to be set up in 3 6-hour days or how that works. But when I took it and when she took it, it was like a Friday for 6 hours, a Saturday for 6 hours, and a Sunday for 6 hours. And so the first level, basic DNA, is 6 hours, advanced theta is 6 hours, and then dig deeper is just a Saturday and a Sunday, 6 hours, 6 hours. So, but I'm telling you guys, when I walked out, you do a ton of healing on yourself, and you learn how to,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. And you're working with creator, not working with your higher self. You're working directly with creator. It's amazing, guys. And
you're always working with creator, but just not through any other vessels.
You're going directly to creator. You're not working through your spirit council. You're not working through your higher self. Angels. It's directly angels, nothing. It's directly with your with creator. But it is incredible healing. When I walked out of the first 3 levels, again, it's just a 3-day class, then a 3-day class, then a 2-day class. But it is so intense, and what you learn.
Third class, like, you feel just like you would go from here to here.
Yeah, I walked out of the third class, and I said, "Oh my gosh," because I had been really in the depths of my healing journey already at that time. When I got walked out of that third class, I said, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I know, like, for a fact, I know that it would have taken me about 2 years on my own to heal in me what I got healed in that class. Mm-hmm. Like, it was mind blowing.
You got to remember, though, you will only get the healing if you are ready to release it.
If you're ready to do the work on it and you're ready to release, but you'll work on things that you're ready to release anyway. I mean, you're going to pick something.
I mean, but it's people will go in there and we'll bring up the same thing to work on over and over and over. And they're like, I don't know why it's just still not gone. You don't want to on some level, or you're not ready to on some level to release it. So you have to actually be ready and want to, and don't be disappointed if it keeps coming up, because if it keeps coming up, it's just a test to see if you're actually ready to not be triggered by it anymore.
Well, anyway, so what I was saying about this is to say, so I'm doing this training to become an instructor which I've been using theta healing for years now, like I said, inside of my sessions, but now I'm going to offer it as like a standalone. So once you actually take the training, then you are a certified theta healing practitioner. So you could actually even use that. Anyone who does mentoring with me has to do the first 3 levels of theta healing. Like that's a given because I use it in my training. That's what we do. We do a lot of theta healing inside of the higher self hypnosis sessions with the psychic surgery and stuff. So you have to know the first 3 levels of theta healing. So that's a must as part of my program. So again, if you're interested in learning how to do what I do, email me at tracy@wokelightworker.com. I'll give you guys the information for my mentoring program. But if you want to do just standalone theta healing, I'm going to start teaching those in February, probably a mid second to third week in February. So if you're interested in getting on my waiting list to learn more information about my theta class, that's going to come up. And again, it's all online. Send me an email at tracy@wokelightworker.com and say, keep me in the loop for your theta healing training in February. And then I'll be, looping it around and probably doing it every other month, starting a brand new one. So, every other month I'll probably have level 1 starting again. And then the following weekend will be level 2. And then the third weekend will be the third class, dig deeper. So, but I'm telling you guys, like, it was incredible. And like she just said too, I know I got massive healing on myself, but not only that, you will learn how to become a theta healing practitioner so that you can actually like take clients and help other people. I mean, even if it's just your family, a lot of people do it to help themselves because you'll learn how to do continuous healing on yourself too from this, like amazing continual healing on yourself. For your healing journey, nothing beats this, like nothing for your healing journey. But you'll also be able to help other people be able to release lots of emotional trauma, whether it's your mom, your dad, your partner, your friend, whoever, if you want to actually see clients. If they want it, of course.
Force it on someone, so like,
no, we don't force healing on anyone.
And someone asked in the YouTube comments,
thank you, Earth is Alive, for another stocking. Thank you. Let me see. What else do we got? But anyway, so if you guys are interested in learning more about that, you can check out Theta Healing online. You can read about it. It is all about pulling belief systems, fear, anger, resentment, trapped emotions, and finding out where they come from. Is it something that came from this life? Are you leaving? Something that came from this life? Did it come from another life? Like, where is it from? And then really just pulling it by the root. We get to the root. That's why the third class is called Dig Deeper. We dig deeper until we get to the root of what's causing it. And like I said, it will transform your healing journey like nothing else. Theta healing is incredible. So I think let me see. What made you decide to go into your occupation? I just kept following my joy. I said at the beginning of this, I just kept following my joy and then ended up just kind of falling into this stuff and deciding that, yeah, this definitely was my purpose, what I came here to do. And I didn't know, I just kept taking courses and certifications and this angel healing and that angel healing and doing this and Reiki and Reiki 2 and Reiki Master and all these different things. And finally just landed in doing this kind of stuff. But anyway, so I'm going to end it here because now I've gone way longer than I had anticipated and I'm going to go walk my dog. So don't forget to sign up for my Connecting to Your Higher Self class. Again, the discount for half price is only good through January 2nd. It's on wokelightworker.com. You can watch my hypnosis sessions on my YouTube channel. Woke Lightworker is the name out there. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, guys. There's way more stuff I can post on Instagram than I ever could on TikTok, as far as like memes and sayings and things like that and different spiritual quotes. And then I have some good meditations out on my YouTube channel too, if you check those out. And Patreon under the name Woke Lightworker. I also have, hi Trisha, I got your email. I also have more sessions on patreon.com, way more hypnosis sessions out there if you want to watch some really good ones out there. Kristen, talk to you on the 5th. I have an appointment. Yay. Okay. Awesome. I hope you guys all have a great new year. I hope to see you in my higher self class. If you can't be there in person, you guys will get a replay of it. It's not a problem, but connecting to your higher self, and then email me again, Tracy@wokelightworker.com if you're interested in learning more about, if you really feel like this really is something for you that you want to learn how to do, email me for a training I'm going to have probably starting the end of January, beginning of February. And it'll be ongoing, so you can jump in at any time. And if you want to also email me if you're interested in getting on my list to get more information about the Theta healing classes that I'm going to be teaching starting in February. It would be awesome to have us all be on this incredible healing journey, raising our frequency for ourselves and, of course, the entire planet. Because when we heal, we lift that heavy, dark energy and we raise our frequency. When we raise our frequency, we raise the frequency of the entire planet by doing that. So healing is really, really serious, important work. It really is. So anyway, I hope you all have an amazing night. Thank you for joining me here. I love you all, and I will see you on my next live.